Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everyone had a phenomenal weekend because I'm likely just about to ruin your day. Now, please don't take it out on me. This isn't me saying Justin Trudeau is making a comeback, but there's a lot going on that we have to get into because what Justin Trudeau is doing from a strategic standpoint, it could pose a threat to Pierre Poilievre. He's regurgitating a lot of Pierre's policies, a lot of his talking points, right? With selling off government land to fix the housing crisis. And now it's about foreign workers and how he wants to put an end to that. There's a couple other things in the mix. Now, does this mean Justin Trudeau can literally make a comeback and swoop up a bunch of voters or people that are on the fence and win the next election? I don't believe so, but what he's doing does pose a threat. And there's some big differences still. Like, no matter what Justin Trudeau tries to say and copy Pierre Poilievre, one of the biggest separating factors is, obviously his individual character, who he is as a person, blackface piece of shit, Nazi inviting person into Canadian Parliament, glorifying a Nazi, not a very good look. That will never change. But above and beyond that, if we look at the policies, you have the carbon tax. Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party are so obsessed with fixing climate change, even though Canada is like 0.5% or 1.5% of the global carbon pollution contributors. Like, it doesn't make any sense. No matter what we do, even if we just stop using cars today, it's not even going to make a dent in those numbers because China is the biggest polluter. So nonetheless, it doesn't matter what Trudeau tries to do, he's not really going to be able to get himself out of this radical, liberal, progressive corner that he's put himself in. But in the meantime, yeah, there is a reason to panic. It's not me saying, hey, whoa, now's the time to panic, but almost there. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. I would really appreciate if you guys took the time right now to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. And we are super close, like 2,000 people away from 400,000 subscribers. And it would be awesome if we got there before they resumed in Parliament in the next 30 days. And without further ado, let's get into this video here. So we're starting off with the polls, and there has been an update, and it's not good. It's not bad, but it's not good. You know what I'm saying? Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party have gone down to 203 projected seats. They were at 209, they were at 215, at 220. So that part isn't looking super good, but it's not a reason to panic. He still has a massive lead, 41% plus or minus 4%. It's looking phenomenal still, so don't worry. Bottom line, 175, top end 229. They need 172 for a majority government. And Justin Trudeau went up. He's gone up from the 70s to 83. That is the worrisome part, because a lot of the problems which he has caused in this country, he's now taking Pierre Poilievre's talking points, which are good solutions, and he's saying them as if they're his own. And now people are going, oh, wow, you're going to solve those issues. That's great. Now, yes, of course, he has caused them, and a lot of people are seemingly forgetting about that, which is why it's frustrating seeing this number go up, because it's like, hello, come on, people, wake up. This guy has destroyed the country, and now he's offering to solve it right before an election? How convenient. Almost like it was a strategy. And then you have 99% likely of winning the most seats and 98% likely of a majority government. Now, is this a reason to worry? No, not yet. Believe me, I'll let you know when it's time to panic. All right, but no, we're still doing very good there. But let's just put the Canadian stuff on pause for a second, and let's take a look at some American and international news. Starting with former Democrat Tulsi officially endorsed Trump for president. This is huge. And you're seeing a lot of massive endorsements in America. You have RFK Jr., who's dropped out of the race and says, I'm going to be working for Trump when he's elected. Like, it's just phenomenal. Let's take a look at the short little clip here.
The brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House, where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief. Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace. And we can't live free as long as we have a government that is retaliating against its to the brink of.
So I don't know what the Canadian equivalent of this would be, but it would be awesome if you have people that are just like if Maxime Bernier just said, you know what, I'm going to drop out of the PPC and I'm just going to support Pierre Poilievre and I'm going to take my voter base there. Like that would be incredible. And look, that's not me saying, hey, Max, do that. I'm just saying that it would be kind of cool if we had other people, other parties just say, you know what, we're dropping out of this very divisive race here in Canada, and we're just going to unite with the Conservatives and get Trudeau out. But I'd love to know what you guys think about that endorsement down in America. And then I did stumble upon this interesting little fact here by Historic Vids on X. So the Ikea founder, who started the company when he was 17, he flew coach, he stayed in budget hotels, drove an old Volvo, and always tried to get his haircuts in poor countries. He died in 2018 at the age of 91. It's a good life. And his estimated net worth was almost $60 billion. It's refreshing to see a very wealthy person be extremely humble, which is obviously not what we get here in Canada with our trust fund prime minister. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about that. And then we have this clip here. I'm not going to play it because there is a whole lot of swearing and just I don't want to say degenerate vocabulary, but Quinton Tarantino's the way he handles this sit down with Bill Maher is just so friggin' weird. They go on and on about, you know, how Kamala Harris is going to win and Bill Maher considers himself a centrist now. And he's saying that Kamala is bridging the gap between the left and the right, and Kamala is the perfect candidate to be in the absolute center, to which Quentin Tarantino replies with, this is about effing winning. It doesn't matter. It's about effing winning. It's about effing winning. Don't effing shut up about this. We have to effing do it. And it's very bizarre. Look, I swear on my channel sometimes it slips up, but nonetheless, I don't want to play that clip because it does get very much out of control. But if you do want to find the clip, it is on a Billboard Chris's X account. And then you have a very scary video that has surfaced where it shows almost what's going to be happening across the world potentially. So look, these are a bunch of migrants that are swimming illegally into a country that they are not, you know, they don't have access to. They're just saying, hey, we're going to take the beach and now live in your country. And everyone on the beach is just completely blown away at this almost zombie apocalypse type of footage. It is very, very much getting out of hand. And once they get to the beach, all these illegal migrants, they just run into town and then they're there. And so that's kind of what's happening around the world more and more so. And we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. But I'd love to know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. It's a little scary to just think about, but then to also see it happening in some places. But nonetheless, let's get into some Canadian news. So the other day, I did show a clip of a motorcyclist who struck and injured a police officer, and he was found. He was found and he was taken down to the ground by several police officers. They were able to identify with the matching helmet that you can see in the red circle at the top here. Then you can also see the helmet down below. We're not going to play the video. It's just, you know, a couple of cops that struggled to take down this big guy, and then more cops come in and they finally arrest him. So yeah, there you go. Justice, I suppose. And then you have, just in, the 2024 PYY Fair has slashed its general admission tickets by 50% this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That follows a very wet first week, including record rainfall yesterday. So they're trying to compensate for the lack of people that have come in, saying, hey, come on in, it's cheap and the rain is hopefully going to stop or slow down. But nonetheless, here's an incentive to come in. Let me know if you've been to that PNE or if you're planning on going. It'd be kind of interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are attending if the weather permits. Then you have this strange statistic here of homes in Oakville. So the average resident age along Lakeshore Road in Oakville is 63 years old. The average home size is 7,950 square feet. The average number of people living in these homes is 1.1. The average time homeowners are home is 20% of the year. the average property size is 2 acres, and the average water frontage is 200 feet. That sounds like prime real estate. Incredible. And the average amount of jealousy is 100%, according to that person down below. And I've seen that more and more. Like when I lived down on Vancouver Island, I did see a lot of houses like around Qualicum Beach and stuff, like right on the ocean. Prime spot. And some of these like places were uninhabited, and I would walk there, along the beach with my dogs and stuff like that, with my family, and I would just see these like vacancies of these prime locations. And it's just, you got to think about it. Like if you have oceanfront in Canada and you afford it, your house is paid off from these rich people, or it's not even a speck in the bucket of finances, why aren't you there? Why even have that place if you're just going to use it like a few weeks or a couple of months a year? I guess if you can afford it, but nonetheless, it's bizarre. And you're seeing that more and more. And usually, well, a lot of the times it's tied to foreigners investing into our properties, which is something that we're going to be talking about a little bit later. But let's take a look at this new statistic, I guess, by the BC government. They've set the 2025 rent increase cap for rental housing at 3%, tied with inflation. Let me know if that is good or bad and what your thoughts are on that. I know some people get a little triggered. Some people that own rental properties get a little bit triggered, saying, why is the government capping how much I can increase my rent by? But a lot of people on the other side, renters, say, well, thank goodness the government is getting involved, because, people are kind of taking advantage of the rental market and just increasing rent by absurd amounts, which rent is kind of out of control right now and during a housing crisis. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. And then we have this tweet or this post on X from a couple of years ago that is blowing up by Pierre Poilievre. So Pierre Poilievre said the Trudeau government has been spying on you everywhere. They've been following you to the pharmacy, to your family visits, even to your beer runs. Stop the surveillance state and gross violation of your privacy. And this is the original post right here, where it's tied to the LCBO, right? And as you can see, it's from 2022. Now, I don't see why that would be blowing up. People are saying that it's a full-blown QAnon style conspiracy theory. I don't personally see an issue with that. We all know that the government is listening and following us, and it's very bizarre, and it was kind of cool to see Pierre acknowledge that. And he's been a massive advocate for less government. So I don't know if he would personally reduce the amount of surveillance, but I don't really get all of the left-leaning, liberal, radical people out there that are going, that's QAnon and that's conspiracy theory. How dare you? There was literally a movie about it by Snowden who showed it to the world, and he's risked his life in doing so and can never return to America, which is why he's allegedly living out in Russia or something like that. That shows that the government, the American government especially, was listening to as many people as they possibly could, which is a huge invasion of privacy. But let me know down in the comments, is this a conspiracy or was Pierre just stating facts? And then next up here, you have this post here, which is it's kind of crazy to see, but left-leaning people, liberals, NDP, they're throwing these tantrums over the fact that the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, is closing these safe injection sites near schools and daycares. They're angry about the fact that people won't be able to use drugs in a safe zone near children that are in school or daycares. That seems like a ridiculous thing to throw a tantrum about. That's only good for everybody. Keep it away from the kids and slowly push it away from, law-abiding citizens that pay taxes. Like, I don't personally want to walk around and see people doing drugs, especially if they're supplied by the government. But nonetheless, let's take a look at this footage here.
We are in a serious and deadly toxic drug death crisis with no coordinated tables or emergency task forces to address it, with political interference and hostility based on ideology, stigma, and discrimination.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. The people that are pro safe injection sites, there's a look to them. I mean, just look at the screen. There's always a look. You can always tell, yeah, I know which way. I know what your ideas are. I know what your beliefs are. There's just always a look.
Archaic drug laws and enforcement have only contributed to the ever-rising toxic drug supply. The eras of Just Say No have made the toxic supply in North America out of control. Addressing this deadly emergency crisis needs a multi-pronged approach. This includes evidence-based supervised consumption sites, compassion clubs, safer supply, decriminalization, and evidence-based treatment that is gender-specific and inclusive, culturally appropriate, public, and where the profit motive is removed so people can get the care they need without pharma and profits interfering with good quality care. SCS and needle exchange programs are essential. They save lives and they decrease the risk of fatal overdose. Neighborhoods that put in SCS saw a more significant decrease in overdose deaths than those who don't. The crime stats that the ministry used were false claims. These were not cited, did not come from the Toronto police, and no correlation was made to the actual sites. Geographical proximity is not a connection. There are other factors causing increase in crime, like the cost of living and people struggling to survive in this province. This is not about the evidence of SCS. There is large amounts of research on supervised consumption sites, and the benefits of them has spanned decades. We cannot have moral ideology and discrimination be the backbone of public policies. A few vocal critics who will not be satisfied until they are closed, knowing full well people will die as a result, should not be setting policies in this province. The government is creating a false dichotomy between evidence-based treatment and evidence-based harm reduction. One of the comprehensive responses to the drug death crisis have been supervised consumption services. We need to expand them, we need to fund them, and we need to expand them to include inhalation. The majority of people dying from the toxic drug supply are dying at home alone, and they are inhaling their drugs. We need to scale up our interventions to save lives. People who use drugs, who use supervised consumption sites, are one population of people from all different socioeconomic backgrounds who shouldn't have to die. People who use drugs have value and deserve safety too. There is nothing more unsafe than the risk of death.
Sure, that's something that people can agree. People who use drugs are people too. However, putting that near kids, near schools, near daycares is just setting those drug users up for failure, and it's exposing minors to something that they don't need to be exposed to, and all around it's just a horrible, horrible idea. But left-wing radical people seem to not realize that, and you can easily spot them visually. Moving on to other news, you have a guy who jumped off the railing into the pool at the West Edmonton Mall and broke the railing, apparently. I'm just going to mute it for the music. Splash, sploosh, splash. And then you can see the railing did get bent when he jumped right there. It got bent, broke the railing into the pool. I think a lot of people who've been to the West Edmonton Mall have thought about that just as an intrusive thought, not necessarily doing it. But I've only been to the West Edmonton Mall once, and it did cross my mind. Like, there's some high platforms where you could jump into the pool, but let me know if you've ever been, if that's ever been a thought. Somebody just pulled it off. And then you have Justin Trudeau, who has announced today that Canada will impose a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles, along with 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel from China. Now, if that sounds familiar, you would be correct, because Pierre Poilievre suggested this a few weeks ago. It's so bizarre that Justin Trudeau is going around and he's just taking all of these ideas. In fact, Global News covered this August 12th. Pierre vows 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs as Liberals say their decision is coming soon. Well, it turns out that they've decided to take Pierre Poilievre's talking point. So why is this concerning? Well, for anyone who just no matter what, hates Pierre Poilievre and supports Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, they might see that as, oh, that's a great idea. And they're going to ignore the fact that Pierre has been saying this. And we're going to get into more things that Pierre has said and that Justin Trudeau is taking. And they're going to ignore the fact and deny the fact that it was ever Pierre's original idea. Speaking of things that Justin Trudeau is copying, now I want to focus on the temporary foreign worker, program and what's going on. So there are a bunch of these protests that are erupting across Canada. Temporary foreign workers protest to stay in Canada today in Winnipeg. This was yesterday, right? It's got over 250,000 views at the time of this recording. Let's take a look at this video.
Stand for! Stand for! Stand for! Stand for! Don't blame us! Fix your system! Fix your system! Fix your system! Fix your system! Don't blame us! 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 Fulfill your promise! Fulfill your promise! Fulfill your promise! Fulfill your promise!
Okay, so the funny-ish thing about this now is now that Justin Trudeau, and we're going to get into this in a moment, has come out and said we need to fix the temporary foreign workers program, not to make it better, but to boot people out and to actually halt it. You now have people that support Justin Trudeau, liberals, radical extremists, that are saying, yeah, we need to get rid of temporary foreign workers to make more room for Canadian workers. You also have people on the other side, Pierre Poilievre, conservatives, that are saying, yes, we need to get rid of temporary foreign workers so that more Canadians can have jobs. So the empathy for temporary foreign workers whose permits are up is at an all-time low, because you have both sides of the spectrum that are saying we need to get rid of this and so that Canadians can have jobs. And now he hasn't come out with it, but I am under the impression that Jagmeet Singh, because he always picks the opposite of what Pierre and Trudeau do, he always makes himself that third point of a triangle. He's going to say, that's not fair. We should probably allow temporary foreign workers to stay here. In fact, we should increase their permits and we should bring in more. That's just my speculation, but he hasn't actually said anything, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Let's take a look at what Justin Trudeau said today about the temporary foreign worker program and how he wants to just completely cut it. It's a textbook copy and paste right out of Pierre's program.
Severe labor shortages, we adjusted the program for temporary foreign workers. That's what the business community needed. That's what the business community was asking for. And at that moment in time, those changes helped. They helped the economy, and they helped businesses make it through a challenging moment in our economic recovery. But today's economy is very different from it was 2 years ago. Inflation has started to come down, employment is higher, and we no longer need as many temporary foreign workers. We need Canadian businesses to invest in training and technology and not increasing their reliance on low-cost foreign labor. It's not fair to Canadians struggling to find a good job, and it's not fair to those temporary foreign workers, some of whom are being mistreated and exploited. So I asked my minister to work on this over the summer, and we are taking action. We are tightening the rules and restricting eligibility to reduce the number of low-wage temporary foreign workers in Canada, with exceptions in certain industries like healthcare, construction, and food security. We'll also be looking at changes to the high-wage stream of the program as part of the minister's expedited 90-day review. So to those who would complain about worker shortages, here's my message. There is no better time to hire and invest in Canadian workers.
Now, look, I love to criticize Justin Trudeau on everything he does. Absolutely everything, from his policies to him walking on a beach in Tofino. And because I have come out and said this is great, Pierre Poilievre's solution, which is exactly this, to the temporary foreign workers program, to just get rid of it or start to taper it back so that more Canadians can have access to our jobs, at least first dibs. That's phenomenal. So this is something that now a lot of people that are more conservative leaning agree with. So what does this mean for the long run? And did Justin Trudeau really copy Pierre Poilievre, which is also something that's been circulating, right? How long has Pierre been saying this? Well, I did just a super quick Google search and I found this video from the Edmonton Journal 6 years ago. Let's take a look at what Pierre said 6 years ago, back to the glasses days.
I believe Albertans support the changes that we brought into place. We want to guarantee that Canadian jobs go to Canadians. With all that's happening in the Alberta economy right now, it is especially important that people who live here get the available jobs. The temporary foreign worker program was meant to be a limited and last resort for acute labor shortages, not a permanent business model.
So ultimately, what does this mean for Canada? Well, it means that at least you have both sides of the political spectrum can agree on something. Then that's a step in the right direction for healing Canada. Now, look, I'm by no means saying, insinuating, or leading on the fact that Justin Trudeau is coming around and he's finally seen the light and we might actually have a different Trudeau than what we've had. That's absolutely not what I'm trying to say at all. I think that Justin Trudeau is still a piece of garbage. I really, really do. But this is good because it's a uniting topic, right? We have a foreign worker issue here in Canada. And the fact that Trudeau can realize that is good. But here's where it's extremely disingenuous and misleading. He's responsible for causing that. He has been people have been telling him this for years, as far back as 6 years, maybe even further back. The foreign temporary worker program was brought to his attention. And you know what they did when they were criticized about this program, what Justin Trudeau and Liberals did? They said, that's racist. How dare you? How dare you say that about foreign workers? We need them. We need them to fill our jobs. And now and only now, when Canada is at its boiling point, if we were a kettle, it would be screaming. Now Justin Trudeau is saying, okay, let's abolish the program and give Canadians access to jobs. It's super disingenuous. And this is the type of prime minister that people are somehow still wanting to vote for. Someone who causes problems, gaslights you, tells you that they're not problems, gets called out on said problems for years, not mentioned it a couple of times, for years, day after day after day in the House of Commons and parliamentary committees, you name it. It's been brought to his attention. He's been aware, and he's purposely neglected touching that program or doing anything or commenting on it because he was waiting for this opportunity here where Canada is at that boiling point and we're all fed up and we all realize, hey man, we need more Canadians to have Canadian jobs and we need less immigrants or temporary foreign workers to scoop up these jobs. Now he's come around miraculously and said, oh, hey, look, we can fix this issue. You caused it, you dumbass. That's not fixing the issue. That's called manipulating Canadian voters. So I'm sorry if any liberals out there are going, well, look, that's a great solution. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem because you supported a guy who's caused the issue and now sells you the solution. That's a greasy salesman, and that's the state of Canada right now. And never mind Jagmeet's position on whatever the hell he does eventually come out and say. He's probably going to defend foreign workers. Like, there's no way that this is something that Pierre Poilievre, Justin Trudeau, and Jagmeet are going to agree on. So his opinion is going to be completely irrelevant. He always picks that third point to be this obtuse angle. It's so bizarre. But nonetheless, any liberal out there, NDP supporter or whatever, anti-Pierre, who now sees this as a good thing that Justin Trudeau has done, you are part of the problem. And this just has to beg the question. What else are you supporting or have you supported that Justin Trudeau has put through and he's now going to start to claw back and say, we need to fix this? Would housing be one of those causes and issues? Just think about that. So anyone who supports or is thinking about voting for Justin Trudeau really needs to look at themselves in the mirrors and allow that that glass wall of supporting a piece of crap gaslighting prime minister, just shatter that glass and see him for who he is. He's a manipulator. He's a piece of garbage. And it doesn't matter what the opinion polls say right now. If he's gone up or down, you still have a tremendous amount of momentum for Pierre Poilievre. And that's why he's likely to be Canada's next prime minister. But I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this good? Is this bad that Justin Trudeau is now against temporary foreign worker program? Let me know what you guys think. On your way out, I would like to encourage you guys one last time to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.